Inside my head or inside my brain is that part of me which keeps me sane, which helps discern between right and wrong and other things I'm gonna talk about in this song. It's time for the people to know, so now I tell them what goes on in my cerebrum and my cerebellum, the thought process that helps me get dressed, get up and go to school, sit down and
Today on the Mental Weight Room, I'm joined by Oliveira, a true leader in the world of athletic performance and holistic therapy. Originally from São Paulo, Brazil, Ale is the founder of Aptare Lab and the architect behind a unique performance philosophy that blends medical, scientific, and performance principles to help athletes thrive. With academic credentials spanning 4 countries, including degrees in physiotherapy, athletic training, sports medicine, and high performance sports, Ale has worked with top organizations like the NBA's Atlanta Hawks and Brooklyn Nets, the NFL's Carolina Panthers, Major League Soccer's Charlotte Football Club, and more. His integrative approach has earned him industry accolades, global recognition, and opportunities to work with everyone from elite athletes to touring musicians and Hollywood stars. Ale currently serves as the lead holistic therapist at Aptare Lab and is completing his PhD in leadership and human performance. He lives in Charlotte, North Carolina with his wife and 2 children. Let's dive into his journey, philosophy, and the power of collaboration in the pursuit of peak performance. First of all, Ale, welcome and thank you for joining me today.
Oh, I gotta thank you for this very kind introduction. It's a pleasure to be here talking to you.
So you've had an incredibly diverse and global journey through athletic performance from Brazil to the US, I think Australia, and even beyond. How did your early experiences in sport and education shape your approach to the mental side of performance?
I think everything started a very long time ago. Like you said, I grew up in São Paulo, Brazil, and then I tried to be a professional footballer. Uh, Clearly didn't make it, but that opening up for me the world of physical therapy, and then I absolutely fell in love with it first sight. And as I was playing, I came to the U.S. also to play in a soccer scholarship. And as I'm like, developing my early career and in this physical therapy in Brazil and here in the US, I come to learn that there's much more than just one entity, right? I think that goes back to the knowledge that together we're much stronger. So
Right,
that's why in the early career, I start thinking I need to really learn everything possible that surrounds an athlete. If I cannot directly help that person in all the areas, I want to be able to communicate with somebody that can, almost in the same level, because it's very hard to know everything. I don't think it's impossible to know everything,
right,
but the more I know, the more I can communicate with one another. And then we can really use each person's expertise and really get something very unique, very important that can, map in every area of the person. Um, I'm a big believer that alone we can be very good, but together we can be so much more stronger.
right,
So,
right, right.
a- and with my career working in professional sports in different countries and different things, I start really knowing that that was the key.
Well, Aptari Lab is built
Yes.
around a holistic philosophy or a holistic
Yes.
performance philosophy. I'm a mental performance coach.
Yes.
And so I'm
Mhm.
curious, what role does mental training play in that holistic model?
Huge, like as important as any other area. So, for example, if a person gets an injury, everybody automatically think that's only the physical therapist or the athletic trainer's job. Absolutely not. Like the mental aspect of that person that just got injury, it's huge at that moment because he went down. If you're talking a professional athlete, immediately he's thinking about, is it done? When is he coming back? How is he going to supply for his family? So
Right,
I worked in a team before in other places that once the person gets hurt, it's just the physical therapy and the athletic trainers. No, it's completely the opposite. Bring the mental coach, bring the psychologist. Like that person can be crying, that person can be angry, that person can be lost. If
right,
you don't establish it at that second, that person's state of mind and show to him, yes, you're going through a very difficult moment of your life. However, it's manageable. So,
right.
and you can carry that philosophy all around, right? Training is the same thing. If the person doesn't have a good state of mind, something is not working for that person in here. I might be wasting my time trying to create an adaptation on that person's body. So
Right.
the importance of the mental aspect of anything related to sports, entertainment, filming, and daily living is absolutely as important as any other part of it.
Yeah. So that's a good segue to my next question because you're in the final stages of your PhD, which is
Yes,
focused on mental health awareness for support
yes,
staff in pro sports.
yes.
Um, it's obvious what inspired you to focus your research in this area, but can you talk a little bit more about that for me?
The mental health conversation is still a crazy stigma. It's still like
Yeah.
I I speak sometimes about my personal experiences, and I see persons sometimes looking at me kind of either sad because I'm sharing a problem I had, or even like
Right.
looking me perhaps down, like really mental
Right.
health, like, are you weak? And I wanted to show
Right.
them that's not right.
Yeah.
The supporting staff in a professional team, they go to a crazy stressed life. It's
Right.
long hours of work. It's a very performance driven place. You can get fired at any second, even if you
Right.
have a
Right.
contract, right? You're moving your family city to city, and you have in your hands millions of dollars of athletes
Right.
that you need to make them perform better.
Right.
I let my mental health really go down in one time of my life where I realized that the trigger is everything that I was trying to accomplish. So I wanted
Right.
to help my peers to understand and break the stigma. It's okay. Like, you need a day off is okay. You need a time off is
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. We spend a lot of time focused on the mental health, the mental well-being, the mental training for the athletes, but we
For that
forget about the support staff who
100%.
are still held to the same standard. So you mentioned that mental health was one of the main reasons you stepped away from working inside pro sport teams for a while. Can you talk talk a little bit about that decision and what really was the trigger or what really was that one moment where you said, I've got to do something else. I've got to approach this in a different way.
Yes, yes. Just one little touch you said, like, about the importance of the supporting staff. The players, they go to the supporting staff for support, mental support
Right.
as well. So if you are not good, how are you gonna help the other person? Right.
Right.
So, and so many years working in the industry, and hard long hours of work, doing a PhD at the same time, trying to be a present father, trying to be a good husband, trying to be like a family person, ain't the best profession I could. I lost it.
Yeah.
I start seeing stress. I start seeing uh, uh I wasn't happy anymore. I was angry. I wasn't happy with the hierarchy of the team because I want to do more and I couldn't. And that start going, and I snowballed that. When you don't know that you're going through something like that, you really have no idea what you're going through until it's too late. And
Right.
I got to the point where I was at home yelling at my, at the time, probably 3-year-old son because he dropped a cup of water on the floor. And then I look around, I was like, oh my God, what did I just do? Like, what's going on? And I
Right.
start noticing that's changing. I was like, okay, maybe I got to step out a little bit. I got to step out a little bit. However, working in this level and trying to be so hard on yourself to be the best as you can, it's hard to break up. You kind of get a
Right.
little abusive relationship, right? Like, I know that's not good to me, but I love it so much. I'm going to go
Yeah.
through it.
Right.
And you can.
Yeah.
When you lose
Yeah.
control, you lose control.
Yeah.
One beautiful evening, I'm in my house enjoying a good time, talking to my wife, and I start feeling really weird. I start really not feeling good, and my heart rate went to the roof, and I felt dizzy and closing on me. And first instinct you're having a heart attack. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It was a
no,
panic attack though, right? A panic attack.
I didn't know. I didn't know. I was like, if you die advance, Ali's gonna have a panic attack 3 years ago, literally laugh at you. Me having a panic attack, you crazy. That's never gonna happen. And I was, but I didn't know what it was, which goes
Right.
back to not know like the mental health awareness that's very lacking, right? Call my doctor. She was brilliant. She was amazing. She talked me through it. And at one point, she kind of, I remember this now, not at the time, but she's like, "You're not having a heart attack because if you were, you'd be already down, right? You'd not be
Right.
talking to me, right?" So ambulance came in. We rushed to the hospital. I do all the exams possible. I come back around 3 o'clock to my house with the diagnosis that thank God my heart's perfectly fine. However, my
Yeah.
mental health is not.
Right.
Um,
Right.
the, the doctor, they are suggests, just look into that part, because your health is perfectly fine. And
Yeah.
that day was really hard because then you realize, wow, did I really let myself go? Like I sell this and now
Yeah.
I let it go,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
You
know?
know what you know what that reminds me of? You know when you're on an airplane and the stewardess says, if we hit rough air, the oxygen masks may fall from the ceiling or from the and they always say, put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you help someone else. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
so true with everything. You cannot come to the table really full and capable of helping others if you're not taking care of yourself. First of all, I want to thank you for your willingness to talk about that panic attack because a lot of people wouldn't talk about it. But how did that moment change your relationship with how you perceive mental health? And what's helped you heal and now maintain your mental well being?
Well, first of all, like, thank you for saying that because it's something that I didn't talk for so long. Um,
Right,
um, I didn't want to talk because I felt like I shouldn't. And then the more I started learning about it, I was like, no, that's opposite. You have to talk about it because there's everybody in the words. You know that phrase, you
right,
walk around and you don't know what everybody's going through. But I guarantee you, if you talk to if you see 5 people right now on the street and you talk to those 5 people, all 5 of them are going through something. There's nobody
right,
that we hide it. We hide it because we live in a society that would have to hide your feelings. And that's something that I teach in my house, completely the opposite. You put your feelings
right,
out there. Don't hurt anybody. Put your feelings out there. So,
right,
um, that night is not that change, but it's something that you always knew. However, you never suffered that, so you don't really know how it is to be. It's
right.
kind of like my brother always told me, like, I know you love my son, but until you are father, you're gonna understand what father love is. And I just
Yes,
understood it
that's
from day
true.
one.
Yeah,
So that night I was like, wow, so that's what a panic attack is.
right,
It's brutal, it's cruel.
right,
So I come home at 3 o'clock in the morning and I was back at work at 5:30 in the morning. The
right.
person that I had above me saw me. I shared with him my issue. He looked at me and said, okay, you okay now? So go to work. I'm like, yes, I'm okay now, but no, I'm not okay now. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah,
So that night I got home from work and I look at my wife and I said, I'm out. This is not it. Like,
right.
how can I work in a place where my supervisor look at me in the eye after I share like a crazy story to him and just are more about what can I provide to the team?
Right, right,
So from that day forward, I realized that if I can help myself, I'm not gonna help anybody in that place. I realized that there's so much more to our daily living and not just our professional goals that I decide to step away from a crazy life of the professional organization. And I put 100% on Aptare Lab. And funny thing, I got 10 times busier and I
right,
travel much more than I used to travel working a professional team. However, if I need a day, I can take a day.
right. I have a clause in my client agreement that says I don't do therapeutic intervention. I'm a mental performance trainer. And it's important, I think, to know the distinction between what a mental performance coach is and a mental health professional is. But it's so closely connected because if you develop the skills to manage anxiety, if you work on how to reframe failure so that it fuels you rather than creates fear, if you learn all of these tools that help you develop a proper growth mindset and mental strength, you avoid the mental health problems. And
Yeah.
it helps with your mental well-being. So that's why I find Aptare Lab so interesting because it is such a holistic approach.
And we have so many amazing plans for the future to really embrace this holistic approach with all the professionals, not only the mental part of it, which is absolutely tremendous, but nutrition, recovery, other physical therapies, other strength coaches, again, together we
Right.
much stronger.
You can't separate the mind from the body. You really cannot.
No, you can't.
Yeah. We're closing in on time, but I do have one final question for you today. And what advice would you give someone working in any high performance role, whether an athlete, a CEO, a student in school who's starting to feel the early signs of burnout or sort of getting to their edge? What advice would you give to someone to avoid that final break?
First, don't hide. There's nothing to hide or
Mm,
be afraid of.
okay. Yeah.
This stigma is I'm sorry, but very dumb. You're not weaker because you have an issue. So
Right.
don't hide. Find somebody that you really trust and seek for help. Ask for a hug. Ask for 5 minutes of a conversation. You're not weak. You're perfect the way you are. I have a friend of mine that says that all the time. And it is true. You're perfect the way you are. So
Yeah.
do that. Do that. Secondly, think about yourself first, because there's nothing
Right.
you can do if you don't help yourself first. And
Right.
that's not being selfish. I cannot be a better father if I don't take care of myself first. I cannot be a good therapist or a good coach if I'm not helping myself first, so then I
Right.
can help you.
Right.
So it's very easy in a way to take care of mental health sometimes, right? Exercise more, eat better, sleep well, find joy in life, do your meditation, all those things that we do. And that's nothing more than you taking care of yourself. Right? You can
Right.
train 10 people a day. Go train yourself. I tell people, don't train to look better. Don't train to be better. Train to feel better. We have a keyword in the house, and we don't have to ask permission or nothing. If you need a second, if you need a time, you just be, I need a second. I need five
Right.
minutes. So that's what advice I
Yeah.
give to them. Like, take five,
Yeah.
you
Take
know,
5.
take
That's good
five,
advice. Take 5.
take
I like
five.
it. Don't hide and take 5. That's good.
Don't let it take
Um,
five.
yeah. Ali, where can listeners learn more about the work you're doing at Aptare Lab or connect with you?
Well, Aptare means adaptation. Lab is all these beautiful things that we do together. We have our Instagram, that's Aptare_Lab.
Okay.
We have our YouTube channel, same name. And we have our website, that's aptarelab.com.
Okay.
So on all those channels, you feel free to drop an email, drop a DM, whatever you need. I absolutely love to talk to everybody. And please feel free to connect.
Great. Well, Ollie, thank you so much for showing up today, especially with such honesty and depth and expertise. I know my listeners will walk away with a deeper understanding of how physical performance and mental well-being are inseparable. And I wish you all the best as you finish your PhD and continue to redefine what it means to train the whole human, not just the athlete. So thanks again to my listeners for joining us on the Mental Weight Room today. That's a wrap on
Yeah.
another episode. If you enjoyed today's conversation, don't forget to share it with a friend, leave a review, or give us a 5-star rating. It really helps get the word out. And make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an episode or a training tip. Ale, thank you again. All right, folks, this is Coach Antoinette and Ale signing off. Until next time, keep training your brain as hard as you train your body and keep pushing your limits.